How are ya? How goes it? Welcome to the live stream of consciousness. Dropping toothpicks left and right like it's going out of style. Don't worry, I got a backup, folks. Don't you sweat a thing. If you're worried that I might run out of toothpicks, it's okay. I got some more. All right. I recycle toothpicks. That's gross. Don't do that. But I just keep them. I'll keep them right there, nice and comfy. How are you doing? How are things? Jacob, good to see you. Good to see you, Jacob. How are things? Love your cats, by the way. Thank you for posting the photos of the kitty, kitty, here, kitty, 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 kitty. Love seeing the kitties in our Discord. And if you are new here, I'm Rob. I live stream every weekday. I ask you to join the conversation. Hit that subscribe button. Where did they put it? Down there. Hit the subscribe button and then the notification bell. Bandito. You need a custom Swiss Army knife with a pick holder. I wouldn't even need knives in it. Just I need a Swiss Army toothpick holder. That is a brilliant idea. And welcome to the conversation, Bandito. Like I was saying, I would love for you to join the conversation, and you do that easily by hitting subscribe and then the notification bell. You'll get notified every time I go live, and you can drop a gem in the comments. Also want to give a little shout out to Jima. I just seen she left a comment on yesterday's live. I think it was yesterday's live. So Jima, if you're watching these post live production, if you're watching them in post, hello to you. I hope you are well. I haven't heard or seen from you in a while, so I hope all is good. Let me say that. And if you want to stay even more in touch with the channel, where we comment on the news, we are sardonic, we're satiristic, and we always punch the up. Then you can also join our Discord. Link down below. That's a cool place where we post kitten photos, meme-spirational stuff. We have a book club, a Fortnite club, all sorts of things. So I highly encourage you to join the Discord. Now, really the only news story I picked out today down in the description, if I plan on talking about it, I'll link it down in the description, is how Trump's phone went from claiming, if you didn't know, Don Taco, the president of the Divided States of America, president of the South, let's call it that. President of the South and Inland. Don Taco, Donald Trump always chickens out. Don Taco is president of the Inland Empire of America, the Bible Belt, and the South. I'd say from each coast and the North we reject it. We reject his presidency wholeheartedly. And I know there's some holdouts. There's some steadfast strongholds in the South and in the Inland Empire. The Middle West, for me, because it's west of me, the Middle West of America. I have gripes with people calling that area the Midwest. Well, it's Midwest for us East Coasters, but what about people in California? That's technically the Mideast. Old Donnie Demigod. Donnie Demigod, if you did not know, he's, of course, cheapening the presidency by launching a $47 phone plan, cell phone plan, with a golden phone, because, you know, gold never looks tacky on a phone. I mean, the guy is such a hardcore Nepo baby. He's even like, we will make a phone and it will be gold. Not real gold, by the way. The phone isn't real gold. It's just painted gold. He is the poor man's version of what poor people think rich people are. Like, oh, they must have everything made out of gold. Yeah, that's totally it. Rose gold is actually a good color on phone. Not gold, though. And it's not rose gold. I don't like that color, but I can understand people appreciating the rose gold color. Donnie Taco, Don Trump, Donnie Demigod, launched a phone plan. Now, this is, never mind, remember his first presidency? He's really teaching us about government. Every presidency of Don Taco is a civics lesson. And the first time around, we learned about the emoluments clause and how the president can't profit off that seat of power. It's just like one of those corruption things, you know. It's like in radio. I can relate to radio because in radio, if an artist and their management company wanted you to play their music more, and then they took you out to lavish dinners and sent you on vacations and all these things, they would call it pay to play. I mean, they were kind of paying you to play their stuff more so people would hear it more and they'd buy it more and it would be in everybody's ear and it would go to the top of the charts and all this stuff. So the pay to play just, it wasn't, you know, there was no fairness in it. It was a very corrupted system. So it was frowned upon and illegal. And we kind of have a pay to play with the presidency. Like, he can't take foreign gifts, jet from Qatar. He's not supposed to be using his seat of power. I mean, Jimmy Peanut, what's his name? What's Jimmy Peanut's name? The president. What's his name? Oh, God. He's in the 80s. Anybody? After inducting 4 private tech companies into our military. Correct. Palantir, welcome to ICE. Welcome to the family, Palantir. Jimmy Carter, old Jimmy Peanuts. I think that was his mob name. Jimmy Peanuts, if you don't remember his presidency in the late 70s to the crack of the 80s, the crack of 1980. Jimmy Carter divested his entire peanut farm so people wouldn't think there was any issue of foreign entities, foreign governments, foreign royalty, all of a sudden buying huge shipments of peanut. All of a sudden they loved peanut butter from old Jimmy Carter's peanut farm. So, I mean, we used to have some kind of ethical, moral code here in America, but Donald Trump has just embodied all that has happened in the past 40 years since Reagan and the deregulation and the conservatives crying foul on anything unless they profit from it. God dang, I keep dropping toothpicks. He made, his son made a Trump 2028 hat, and his son even posted pics wearing it. Yeah, I remember seeing that. And I mean, they just make a mockery out of, you know, everything in America, including this. So in case you didn't know, Don Taco made a gold colored phone. Remember, this is gold paint. He's the poor man's version of what a rich man is. And because he didn't earn his own wealth, look into it, Fred Trump was a real estate magnate, and not a very nice or good one or ethical one. But because Don Taco inherited all of his wealth from Fred, he doesn't understand the je ne sais quoi, the responsibility, the weight of having that money. And he just thinks money is to flex on people. So he created a cell phone plan, $47 a month, because he's the 47th president. Not mine, though. Remember when people were saying that? Not my president to Biden. I'm totally co-opting that message. Yeah. Bandito says, yes, Jacob, they claim to have saved comedy, made comedy legal again, but they murdered shame and hypocrisy. They stabbed it in the back. They took it for a drive down. Where did Kennedy get shot? In Texas. They said, get in the back. The top's down. Get in the back. Shame and hypocrisy. We're gonna take you on a little drive through that Texas square. And they're like, this looks familiar. Isn't this where Kennedy? That's what they did with shame and hypocrisy. Forget the Kennedys. The new thing is the Trumps. Yeah. Well, with Donald's phone plan, the one story I planned to talk about was now they're reporting that the website used to say this will be proudly made in America. I'm guessing the only cell phone in the history of cell phones to be made in America, I don't know, is Nokia. I just learned Nokia is actually like a Swedish word. It's not, I don't know what I thought it was, Chinese or Japanese. But Nokia, and it's pronounced Nokia, I think is Swedish. Where did I learn that from? Portlandia? But the Trumps, of course, because again, shame, hypocrisy has died. They're just claiming that this cell phone was going to be made in America, even though no cell phone can be made in America. They're trying to hype their whole, we did the tariff war for a reason, so we can bring crappy sweatshop jobs to America and you'll be happy for it. Um, and now the website has mysteriously changed to, what did it say? Made with American values in mind. Oh, I should have taken a picture of that. I should have taken a picture of the article. I love that saying. I'll just throw up some other photos. Oh, speaking of the Kennedys, if by liberal they mean someone who looks ahead and not behind, someone who welcomes new ideas without rigid reaction, someone who cares about the welfare of the people, their health, their housing, their schools, their jobs, their civil rights and civil liberties. Someone who believes I can look through the state with suspicious in our policies. That is what they mean by liberal. I'm proud to say I'm a liberal. Did JFK really say that? I don't know. I gotta double check these memes. Hey, what's up, Binkers Gaming? Good to see you. Oh, I went and watched some of your videos, by the way. I forget which one I watched. I watched one about you were teaching us how to download a mod for a game, and I'm old, so my critique, my constructive criticism, Binkers Gaming, was slow down and pretend like you don't know what you're doing downloading a mod. I know your audience probably understands it, so you're just giving them the basic run through. But what I need to remind myself, and that's why I wanted to share this with you, was if you had no idea like how to do things, what are those key things? And then maybe even highlight those when you're going through how to download a mod, right? Sorry, I was a radio producer for a long time, so I always have ideas for people. I can't shut my idea hole off. But, and again, take this for what it costs, nothing. But my thought was like, if he slowed down a little bit, it was like, all right, so you're going to go to this, you're going to go to that. Through that process, after you've laid it out, right? Think, well, what if people really didn't know and they wanted to help, or this was the first time? What are the trickier things? And, just highlight that and maybe break it down quickly, or say, and if you're new to modding, I got a whole new video for you. Maybe you've done that, but just want to throw my 2 cents at you, because I love helping. I love throwing ideas around. I love working in teams, but I love what you're doing, so keep creating. Jacob, because I guess there were time travelers who went to the past and they got destroyed, I guess. Crazy people. Yeah, I have to update it as always. There's issues with it. I've gotten critique over also because there's some common mistakes that I never covered either. Thanks for the suggestions, man. No problem. But other than that, I love what you're doing. You're going out there and that's stuff that my son will have me look up. So your channel is a cool one to have as a reference point. And I thought, this is really that's the future of things. There's that whole niche of how to mod, what to mod, tricks and tips in modding. So I love that you're doing that, man. I think it's really, really cool. And I just wanted to say, I've already watched one of your videos, and even though I'm not the audience, I absolutely got what you're doing. And I just, as an old head, I wanted to say, here's what I would advise you in, because I always think, even I forget Seha. I think, are you an ex-con? Jacob, how dare you ask me governmental questions? But what I was saying, Binkers, is that, I love when people, not trolls, I'm not talking about trolling, but I love when people come in here and they're like, listen, you're doing this from your car and your hand shaking and, get a stand or something. I love when people are thinking of what would make the video better for them, and I always try to all right, can I work on that? Can I tweak that? Can I do that? Because I know they're saying it because they watched it and they felt like that needed to be fixed. So whenever I get that genuine criticism, I try to consider it. Not saying I always do it, but I love hearing feedback. And that's hard for a lot of people. And it's hard for me too. When people are like, you're wrong, or this, or not wrong, but you should do this. You're like, well, you got to consider it, and enough people say it, you have to consider it. But I love, if you're a subscriber to this channel and you do YouTube and, drop it in the comments, or if it's very obvious, like Binkers Gaming, that's obviously a gaming channel. I love to chat. I've checked out a lot of my subscribers' channels to see what else people are creating. I love this platform. That was one of the biggest things that I hated when really diving into YouTube a few years back, is all these YouTube channels like TubeBuddy and all these, they're like, find your niche, find your niche. And I'm like, I don't have that. Like this, I want to talk about news, but if we're going to cover like other small creators or ideas, or I just want to be able to do whatever, like YouTube shouldn't be relegated to like finding a niche and that's how you explode. You become the best in your niche. That's why I think YouTube, their whole platform needs to be revamped, and they need to have slider gauges, like modifications essentially. I was trying to develop an add-on or whatever extension for YouTube where you could make the size of the channel. You could do a slider. So when you search YouTube, you could say, I want a channel with 0 to 100 subscribers, 0 to 1,000, 0 to 10,000, 0 to 1,000,000, and you could gauge it. So you could either only search for small channels or search for big or search for all. And I wanted to do that with like, more specific genres, niches, whatever you want to call it. You still need to do the shorts idea. Jacob, 100. See, that's the other thing. Jacob said I should be clipping my lives and putting them into shorts, and I went, that is a brilliant idea that I know people do, that I've watched it done, that I didn't consider for myself. Jacob brought it to me, and I thought, God dang, but the toughest thing for me is like, if something sticks out in my head and I know that's clippable, I would easily do it. And actually, Jacob, you notice I started doing more shorts after that. I was making a lot more shorts because I thought your idea was so good. And I actually did it for one of my reaction things. I clipped it and put it as a short. So absolutely, see, this is what I mean. Like, I love this kind of, that's why I say join the conversation, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, because I can't solve all these problems. I don't have all the ideas, but I know everybody has different ideas. So I think, this whole YouTube thing can be done better. But again, YouTube, if you're watching, it's constructive criticism. I think this platform is amazing most of the time. Jacob, just so you can preach this more to more people because it's useful, and like 99% of slop on YouTube. Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing. I hate seeing, people like the Liver King. Liver King was in the news, not a link below. But if you didn't see, Liver King was, I think, arrested in Austin, Texas. He was threatening Joe Rogan, making crazy threats to Joe Rogan. Seemed out of his mind. And a couple other YouTubers. Johnny Bravo Films, which I just found, and he exposes these alpha males. And that's what I mean, like the alpha males, the Liver Kings. I think he was doing YouTube, right? Or he was doing Reels or TikTok. I don't know. And these guys I've tried sending more clips through Discord and get distracted. and Bandito, that's the other part of it. These platforms are developing us into like a 5-second reset memory card. But these people like Liver King, who was just arrested, has had a massive downfall considering the fame and wealth he probably got from the attention in the Netflix series and lying about eating liver to get muscles, where he was on steroids. I think he even admitted it. I'm almost positive he admitted it. Wasn't that like the whole Liver King documentary? Like the expose on him? But it sucks because there's slop like that, where if you like, and I was thinking about that today when reading some news and watching some stuff. I was like, I'd rather just do what I do and just kind of be genuine with it than try to pretend like I ate liver and became as big as, Sly Stallone. Naturally, like clearly redonkulous stuff. We used to say that back in the 20,000s. Roids, liver, same thing. Yeah, that would be great if Liver King came out after the whole thing was exposed and he did a short where he was like, guys, wait, you thought I was saying liver made me this big? I'm so sorry. I pronounced it wrong. It's steroids. That's what I would have done. Jacob, Liver King is going to pass away in the next 6 months. Mark my word. Jacob, I don't doubt it. I mean, if you've seen, I watched some of these videos that were commenting, reacting to his recent post where he was driving to Austin. I don't know where he's coming from. And he was threatening Joe Rogan, like clearly delusional out of his mind. And I thought, you know what? Sadly enough, in my life history, um, I've experienced people, I don't even know how to describe where he was mentally. And it really, really reminded me of like people who have, their minds had degraded from meth use, methamphetamine use, or other drug use. Because you see people who just like, when you're around, I mean, there were friends of mine who, thank God, these people, some of them have passed away, but I know one of them is clean and sober now. And at times, I was nervous to be around. Everybody was nervous. It was like a live wire. You didn't know what you were going to get. And I mean, we hung out every single night, but you didn't know, if, you know, what was going to happen. And it was sad because they would say stuff that just made no sense, ramblings, and that's what I seen in that Liver King. Um, Liver King was a Trumper. I believe, of course, all these guys turned to Trump when, you know, any kind of, that's what I mean. Like when their bravado, their false bravado, when they start faking stuff and it gets some attention and fame, so they keep faking stuff and they get more extreme. When they get called out, they usually turn to MAGA. You know, the conservative party is the party of like, we won't look at any of your faults or have any accountability for you as long as you further our agenda. That's what that part, that's what unfortunately Republicans represent, you know. And I'm not saying Democrats are any better. I reject both of them. But I'm just saying like the conservative party, like Russell Brand, um, I'm sure there's more people, even Joe Rogan, you know, like Elon Musk, they're all like, as long, nobody has to any accountability as long as we're furthering our monstrous agenda of like, you know, taking away healthcare from poor people, not paying people enough. Look, Dollar Tree raised the price point to 125, citing inflation, a lie. Dollar Tree made $1 billion in profits, gave its CEO $10 million raise, and pay people as little as $832. They were forced to rely. Their employees have to rely on food stamps and Medicaid, and now they're trying to pass a tax bill to remove that Medicaid from their employees. Um, the alt-right pivot is real. It is 100% Bandito. Elon has no choice. He was rejected by all. Well, hopefully that motherfucker goes back to South Africa. Cuss him and the fucking pony he rode in on, you know? Elon, just go back to South Africa. Like, take him. Jesus. Some of these, who's the other Canadian? Or he's South African, but I was like, some of these people playing in American politics and with our lives are not even from here. Jordan Peterson, Canadian. Tom McDonald, that fake rapper, that wannabe punk, he's Canadian. Ted Cruz, Canadian. Elon Musk, South African. Who else? There's a bunch of people that like you don't realize it, and they talk like they're Americans, and they fully, you know, have gotten their hands messy in our systems of governance, and they're not even from here. I said, get them the out. Dollar Tree fired my sister for being pregnant. I believe it, Jacob. And unfortunately, because Trump has gutted the NLRB, the National Labor Relations Board, usually you take your complaints to them, and she would have a suit because you can't do that. She would be able to sue them, get back pay, or I'm not sure the specifics in states and all that, but normally, but Trump has tried to put in to lead the NLRB, the National Labor Relations Board, one of the biggest union busting lawyers in America. People who are paid to help oppress workers and make sure they don't get fair bargaining, good pay, vacation, health care. So he's just done everything anti-worker. What's up, Jacob? I mean, Curtis, good to see you. Sorry, I was reading what Jacob said. Welcome back. I wish ICE would let me collect my $5,000 and submitting Elon Musk. Bankers, I say that all the time. I'm like, why is ICE not, why didn't Trump's, when him and Elon got in their little spat, he should have sent ICE right after him. Take him, I say confiscate Elon's assets, give them to all his employees and people he's effed with, and deport him. My God, for real, for real. Blue fire flamethrower. Boss of what? You know, like, what do you mean? What does that statement mean, blue fire flamethrower? Like, what do you love about Trump? If you're saying he's like a boss, as in like the '90s clothing brand, cool. I'm curious because he's a chicken shit, number one. But the good boys always do what Daddy says, Curtis. That's right. Um, whatever he said. Well, and that's the thing about their political party, if you could call it that. Like, it has no ethical code, moral code. It has no agenda. It has nothing besides what Don Taco says. Don, Trump always chickens out. There's nothing that they can do, because if Donald Trump farts and one day says, "You did it," and they go, "Oh, you're right, sir, I'm so sorry," and then he decides, "No, I did it," and it stinks, they all have to change their mind like that. So there's no like rhyme or reason. It's just whatever he's feeling at the time. Just go look at what he said in the past. You know, he constantly contradicts himself. No real structure, just standing on the tension of power. That's 100% well said. Um, and by the way, the news story I linked below, I think it's funny. Everyone should read it. A gold phone, $47 a month, which is not cheap, released by the president, which degrades the seat of power in America. You shouldn't have presidents hawking. Um, but it was originally said, its website was said to be made in America. Now it says made with American values, which I question what that means. Does that mean the phone will shoot you? Does that mean the phone is racist? What does that mean? Made with American values. I can hear. Oh, oh no. Am I frozen? Okay, I'm not frozen. Um, but I highly encourage you to read this and just check out this article. It's an interesting article how Don Taco and his cell phone, the president of America. Listen, if you do like Trump, see, because it's weird. These maggots, they claim they don't want the government to tread on them, right? Or if their guys in the government, they're like, tread all over me, do whatever you need to. So these maggots, that's the other problem. It's like they claim to have a distrust in the government, which, when they were like, we're anti-FBI, we're against the police, all this, but then they want to, support thin blue line shit and all that. Like, they contradict themselves always. So really what I was thinking is these maggots, they have no feeling. They have no true feelings, because they have to wait for what Trump says. But really, they just are for one regime, and that's Trump. That's their loyalty. They don't distrust the government because they love it when he's in power. They have no, imagine trying to just have a conversation with someone like that, who, like, has no real thoughts of their own, the most unoriginal sacks of crap, because they have to just wait to see what their daddy's going to say. Crony capitalism likes bureaucracy. Yes. Well, maybe Blue Fire Flame was being sarcastic. Uh, Demon Rats? I don't know. Did he say something before? What world do you live in? Unfortunately, Earth 1. But Blue Fire Flame, do you like, if you say crony capitalism, like I used to call it, likes bureaucracy, you understand Don Taco is like the embodiment of crony capitalism. Like, none of his hires have been, anyone who he's hired in this administration, they're not based on merit. They're like, we're on Fox News and we're his propaganda media outlet piece. So he only embodies crony capitalism and bad capitalism too. Like, he's not even good at capitalism. Look at all his former businesses: steaks, planes, waters, casinos. He's not even good at it, which is hope. Yeah, yeah. No audio. Sorry.